So there's a lot of weird feelings coming up. How have you been feeling? It's just the hardest question. I would just like break down and cry. I was also pretty nervous about the exam, but what I did not expect. Oh my Lanta, you guys. How do I stop my windshield wipers? I got this car almost exactly 1 year ago, which is so insane to think about. If you guys have been here since then, let me know, because it feels like that's maybe 2 months ago, but the fact that it's December and we got it last January is wild. And we got it heading into our second embryo transfer, because mentally we were like, we're gonna need a family car. Our other car is like a 2-door tiny little Mini Cooper, you know? But we were also doing a little manifest moment, you know, if we get the car, the baby will follow, and would you look at that? Don't actually know if it had anything to do with the car. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm headed right now to my 6-week postpartum appointment, which is a big milestone postpartum, I feel like. It's the first appointment for me since the hospital. So there's a lot of weird feelings coming up. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't put any thought to this appointment other than they might clear me to work out, which is exciting. We also thought maybe, since it's with my OB, my doctor, that we would bring Annie with us. But honestly, right now with Jack back to work and with her still being like so young, it's difficult to kind of rally everybody in the car and do the whole car seat thing and then get out of the car. We don't know how she's gonna act. I'll just show my doctor some photos when we get in there. I definitely knew I wasn't like looking forward to this appointment, but what I did not expect is how much I'm not looking forward to this appointment now that it's here today. After IVF, infertility, and then all of the pregnancy appointments, and then the birth and everything having to do with all of that, I am just feeling so over being like poked, prodded, examined. And I didn't realize that until I went a full 6 to 7 whole weeks without being poked and prodded and examined. And now I really just don't feel like doing that right now. Not that anyone ever feels like doing that. Okay, it looks like we have to go to the second floor. I forgot how crazy it is in the afternoon for appointments here. So yeah, not really feeling this appointment. Not that people usually are excited for these necessarily at all, but that's just how I'm feeling. I'm excited to see her. I'm excited to see her because I feel like after my birth, we share that experience. If you haven't watched my birth story video, that's kind of what I'm referencing. It was just such a teamwork moment between her and I and how we got my baby here. So I definitely feel bonded to my doctor more than I have ever felt before. And this is the doctor that referred me to the fertility clinic now 3 to 4 years ago. So she's been there through it all. And now during postpartum, luckily mentally I'm having an okay day right now, because I also thought about during some low points during postpartum, if anyone were to just ask me, how are you feeling? I would just like break down and cry. Today is not a bad day, so I think I'll be okay, but I'm definitely going to be honest about how I've been feeling and all of that stuff. But yeah, I don't know what to expect, so I'll fill you guys in if there's anything that is special about this appointment versus regular OB appointments. Just wanted to check in, a big milestone, the 6-week mark. Let's go see what it has in store for us. Guys, you're gonna have to excuse the crib in the background. I think I said this in a recent vlog, but it's become a dumping ground for a bunch of stuff, so I don't know where we're gonna put our stuff when she actually starts sleeping in it. But Annie's got about half an hour max until she wakes up, so I figured I'd get this clip in while it's still fresh in my mind. One thing though, I have become, and Jack has become, so efficient as parents. Like, I don't know what we did with our time before. And I hear new parents say stuff like that all the time, but we must have wasted so much time before, because the amount that I can get done within an hour now with a kid, knowing that I only have an hour, versus how much time I would waste before her, like an hour would go by on TikTok. Like I'd just be scrolling on TikTok probably for an hour before I had her. So it's crazy. But anyway, I think it was very clear that I was just not looking forward to that 6-week checkup. But I can say walking away from the 6-week checkup, I think I needed that. That was weirdly or unexpectedly, not weirdly, but unexpectedly healing for me. It's almost like I feel this sense of closure that I didn't have before. It was outside the room. Just by talking to medical professionals, specifically for me, because the medical professionals I've seen so far are Annie's pediatrician, but I haven't seen my doctor that coached me through and worked with me to give me the birth that I wanted in such a high intensity environment. Like I hadn't seen her or gotten to talk to her since then. So being able to physically be in the same room and talk to her about things was just so cool. But I definitely cried. I definitely did. I thought I was going in with a good mental space, and I was. I hadn't had a hard day yet. That could change literally at any hour. I feel like that's an hour by hour basis, but I felt like pretty strong going in. And then as soon as they just ask you like, how have you been feeling? Like, it's just the hardest question. But starting with the nurse that brought me back to the room, and then also my doctor, they validated, even without me having to say certain things, they validated so much. Like they said things that I have come to realize, like quote unquote, babies are sacks of potatoes that don't give you anything at first. Like things like that I have figured out, or that I have heard from other new moms, or I've heard other people say, or I've said, they were saying them. So it's just like this realization that we all really do know what this is like, which leaves me feeling like I'm just not alone. And I also just loved talking to my doctor. It almost felt like since we had gone through that together, we now are on a different plane as far as conversation goes. It doesn't necessarily feel like she's the medical professional and I'm gonna listen to what she says and then make a decision. It just feels like we are two women just talking about things at this point. It was really cool. One of the things she said was it's an interesting challenge from her perspective, because the majority of her patients come in wanting to have gotten pregnant, and so they either dreamed of it or it was planned, etc. And so for her to see all of these pregnant women come in and ask them how they're feeling, and they're like, we're so excited, we have this plan, we've got this, all this stuff, and just for her knowing that not everybody, but just the vast majority of women that the hormone crash affects and how it looks for a lot of women. She said it's an interesting challenge sitting there knowing that that's around the corner, but not wanting to be that doom and gloom person to say that that's about to happen when you've got a glowing pregnant woman sitting there like excited to give birth and excited for their new baby. That's just something I never thought about, but I really appreciated her perspective, and it had me thinking. I was like, would I have wanted my doctor to tell me that? Like, would I have wanted that? But the thing is, and this is just me personally, but if she had told me these things, it honestly just would have been in one ear out the other, for me personally. Very similar to how people say, just wait for the sleep deprivation, just wait for this, just wait for that. All of that stuff just completely blocked out. I think it's a combination of the delivery of some of those things. I think the just wait comments, even with me being on the other side of it, I would never say those things to another pregnant woman at all. And I'm personally still not out to like warn every pregnant woman of what's to come or anything like that, but instead just be on the other side, knowing that this is very common and being there for women that need it, just like women have been there for me during this time as well. But yeah, it would have been in one ear out the other. And I also think that there's just not anything that anybody can say that can properly prepare me for what I experienced postpartum. Like there's no, you can't grasp it until you're in it. But I'm curious what you guys think. If you guys would have preferred if your provider gave you more of a heads up about postpartum, or you're kind of in my boat, like you wouldn't have listened or you wouldn't have just like fully understood. I was also pretty nervous about the exam, because this might be TMI, but this whole channel is TMI at this point, as we know. But I have just been leaving down there alone. I haven't looked down there. It's a foreign place at this point. And so going in for this appointment, I was just really nervous if it would hurt, or I don't even know. But everything is good. I feel really fortunate that I've healed pretty much all the way. There's definitely some scar tissue where I hemorrhaged, and that kind of lines up with how it feels when I sit certain ways and things, but honestly every week is getting better and better. And I got the all clear to just do whatever I want at the gym. I even asked if I'm good to like do a squat. Like, is there anything, any maneuver that I should stay away from? And she said, nope, I'm good. But she did say basically act like this is the first squat that you are doing ever, because the way that we now hold our bodies, like our hips, our tailbone, our shoulders, like things are just gonna feel different. And my body definitely does feel different postpartum than it did before pregnancy at all. Just how everything is being held or carried. So that's something that I definitely have to note before I just like go full-blown squat mode at the gym now. But yeah, overall, really, really good. I went in not really wanting to be there, but I'm really glad that I have that under my belt. I feel lighter leaving that appointment. But anyways, my friends, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming with me. I really appreciate it. If you haven't hit the subscribe button yet, make sure you do so down below. My Instagram is also linked down below in case you want to keep up with me over there. I love you all so, so, so much, and I will catch you in the next one, my friends. I'll see you later. Bye.